Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at Dazstudio 4 to create Second Life animations with. It's a really neat program. I love a lot of these features, so let's see how this works for Second Life. It loads up with the default Genesis character. We don't need that, so we're going to right click, remove, and then we go to import. We would go to our download folder if we downloaded it like I did, and then look for the avatar mesh folder that you download from Second Life directly. Here we go, SL avatar folder and the SL mail CR2. So let's open that. For whatever reason it doesn't locate the object, you got to locate it for it. And here we get this colorful Second Life avatar. And I don't like looking at the colors, so we have the Second Life male selected. We go to Actors, Wardrobe, and Props. If we open up this little arrow, we can see all his different parts, textured parts. So let's change these to Second Life skin. There we go. Make him a zombie today. And this is the So we have this Second Life avatar now with textures and all. Okay, and now is probably a good time to save this. Let's zero him first. So we have him selected. We go to Edit, Figure, Zero the figure. So we have a basic setup here. We might use it for creating other Second Life animations, so we want to save him. So save as a scene, or you could save it in other ways too, but this is the easiest. So save as a scene, zombie SL, and I hope I put that in the right folder. So it should be at the bottom, see? But it doesn't have a picture. You usually have to save something twice to get a picture. So we save it again. And here I'm going to show you this neat little feature we have here. So it takes a little snapshot of whatever it is you just saved. And see, this is kind of off. I can't really tell, what this character is or whatever. Maybe it's not centered right or whatever. So the way to center these scenes right when you save them, I have this. You go to render. I have the dimension set at 1 and 1. Okay, so now if we go back to our animate tab and we go to show aspect frame, then you get a good look at what the box is going to save, the picture the box is going to save. So let's make this look a little bit better and take up more of the frame here. So now if we save this again, and usually I have to save it twice to get the picture to change. See, now we have a little bit better picture, kind of shows a little bit more of what we're doing here. So let's turn that aspect ratio off. Maybe we should look at how our movements now. So if you look at the cube in the upper right corner here, if you just click on it, you can rotate, click and move your mouse. You can rotate him around. Or you can use Control Alt and then click and drag with your mouse. And with the cube, if you just click one of the surfaces, then it'll give you that view. So if I wanted front, I just click it. It gives me a perfect front view. Top, perfect top view, and such. We have a normal pan setting here, our tool, and rotate works about the same as the cube does. Zoom in and out, which works the same as your mouse wheel. And this tool is the one I like the most. You just select a part, and you click that tool. It zooms in on the part, and then of course you can rotate all around it perfectly. And if you select the whole character, it'll frame the whole character, give you a good view of it. And this bottom button, I think, defaults the camera. So that's basically the camera movements. Now, to select a part, you're just hovering over. You can hover over and select each one of the parts like this. If you double click, you select the whole avatar. So even if you're on a part right now, I'm on his chest right now. If I double click on his waist, I'm still clicking the whole, or selecting the whole avatar. What else? In the scene tab, you can also select each one of the parts, just like this. And the scene tab makes it really nifty because you can expand and collapse all the selections if you just want to look at a certain part. So that's the basic controls of how you deal with the camera and select parts. Okay, now is a good time to get into animating. So Dazstudio has something called inverse kinetics, and you just basically can grab a part and move it, bend it, move it around. So you can just take each one of these parts and just move them. You gotta be careful when you deselect them too, because sometimes they'll go with your mouse. I try and do this real quick sometimes, and it gets all screwy. But if you go slow and make sure you're deselecting when you should, it should be fine. So let's zero them again. Oops, there we go. Or you can animate them like you normally would in most programs. You would just, go to the parameters tab and just, move these sliders around. So let's try and make something here real quick, and I can show you the basics. So let's zero them, and one thing you can do is that's pretty unique is you can pin items. So let's say I have a foot and I don't want it to move, so I pin it in place. I pin both the translation and the rotation. Okay, so now if I have if I'm using inverse kinetics and I'm moving all these things around, that foot is never going to be affected, or it's going to try to always go to the point where you pinned it at. So let's say I were to grab this waist and try and shift it. Now let's say I had both feet pinned. So let's pin both of those and then move the waist from side to side. See? So pinning is pretty nifty. How else would you do this? You could go like this, like you're doing pull-ups or something, and actually go from here to here. Shift Y. Both hands are up. Now select that one. Select both hands and pin them. So pin them like that. So now we could do pull-ups pretty easily. I mean, literally, you could make an animation just like that, just by pulling those hands up and going here going like this. I'm going here. I'm going like that. Back down to the ground. And just like that, you have a pull-up animation. Or you can go in your tools, go to rotate, and you can get these little circles here to grab and pull around. And oops, I think I shifted them a bit. And yeah, so, and you know, depends on what you like. There's actually, I mean, there's just so many different ways to animate using this. I'm usually using the universal tool because I usually use these sliders or inverse kinetics. But there's also things like the puppeteer. Where's that at? So yeah, so like this puppeteer window. I don't generally use it a whole lot, but some people say it's really cool. I've seen people do cool stuff with it. I don't know really how that works, but I really have no idea. Oh, record. There we go. Okay. So we're recording, and we go like this. Oh, okay. See? Yeah. I don't really know. I mean, I guess you could do things that way. Seems pretty goofy to me, though. I just like to animate straightforward. That's our first frame, so let's go to frame 1. And this little window down here will show, you can close, like let's say you have a minute long animation, but you only want to look at the first 10 seconds of it, then you would use these sliders here to find the section of the animation that you want to use. So I don't want to look at frame 1, so, or frame 0, so let's start it at frame 1, and I'm going to end it at frame 29. So our first frame is set to 0, and there's a keyframe there, see? So now the second frame we can start animating with. So we're going to make like this walk animation here. So we'll take that, I'll select foot, and bend this a little bit. And even these, you can change the name. So like this is very confusing to me. Some of these parts are named correctly, but I'm going to rename this one bend. Okay, that way I know, hey, that bends his foot front and back. And I'll take this other foot, that forward, and then we want to bring his arms down a bit to the side. And here's something that's really neat. Oops. Let's say I like the way this arm looks and I need symmetry on the body, so I want his other arm to be the exact same. So I would select all the parts for that arm. So here I went into the scene window and I selected all the parts for that arm. And now I'm going to go to Edit, Figure, Symmetry, and now I'm going to transfer this left arm pose to the right arm pose, and it's already set to do that. You see here direction left to right, trunk leave alone, so it's already set to do that. So if you animate the left side always first, you can always real quickly and easily transfer that to the right side. And if you, I always use the shortcut for this because I hate digging through those extensions there. So the shortcut for this is Shift Y. So Shift Y, and let's say I did something on the right arm, then I would just click that and choose right to left instead. So here we have these arms kind of set, but the front arm needs to go a little bit further for this left arm, and the right arm needs to go back a bit. So there we go. We have our first frame for the walk. And we're going to select the whole avatar, all the parts, and I'm going to memorize this. Memorize the pose. Okay. Now, I probably don't need to. I could probably just create a keyframe here, but I can also go restore because I saved it and do it that way. And now in the middle, we're making a walk here, so you have to remember the center. The middle one is going to be the complete opposite. So we're going to restore the pose because it did some keyframing weirdness there. So we restore it like this, and then we can go Shift Y for the symmetry window again. We can go to swap left and right, and what this will do is it'll mirror, and then go mirror YZ rotations. So this will mirror that animation. And there we go. And now we have a basic walk. And if we want to make this even more detailed, we could go into like frame number 8 there. And we see this right leg is the leg that's on the ground. So this, I screwed that up. Control Z. So I'm going to lift this foot a little bit so it's more even with the ground, and this foot goes up a little higher, so I'm going to grab this foot because it's bending to move forward. And then I don't like how these arms are so close, so we're going to move those out a bit like that. And then we have our middle frame for a walk. And because the other side is going to do the complete opposite, I'm going to memorize this pose. And I'm going to go to about 22. And I'm going to restart. Restart. Shift Y. And we want to flip these. Swap. Mirror. Bam. And now if we play, we get something a little bit better. So let's imagine that we like a pose in this animation. We like a pose and we want to use it at some other date. So here I have the whole avatar selected. I centered them in my frame, and I want to make a preset for this. I want to save this pose and reuse it some other time. So I already have my aspect ratio set, so we can turn that on. And he's pretty well framed. I might be able to zoom in a little bit, move him down a bit. And we're going to go to, you don't have to select, you can just select the main avatar. And then go to File, Save As, Pose Preset. Now this can be a little funky here and hard to use at times for certain things. But you could save the whole animation, a whole animation in the view, and then reuse that later. But we just want to save a pose, and you'd have to go through and check all these, but the quick way to do this is to click on this little note thing here, go down to select all transforms. It'll select all the parts. So if you only want to save like a arm preset, you could do that. But what I do after I select all of them is I go and I open this very first one and I deselect this, because this saves the position of the avatar, and I don't necessarily want the position saved if I'm going to use it in something else that might have a different position. So there we go, and we hit accept, and I'm in my Second Life folder here. So we'll go zombie, or we'll go, it's not really a zombie walk, we'll go walk, pose 1. Just like that. And if we go to our folder, we go to presets, poses, Second Life, then we see here's our little pose. And if I wanted to add it somewhere else, then all I have to do is click it. There we go. And you can do that with full animations or just a pose. It really makes things quick and easy. Okay, so now we have this quick little animation that we made. So how the heck do we get this into Second Life? And well, there's another aspect too that I want to talk about here with this program and how it works. If you look at the playback, okay, you might not be able to notice this because I don't have the frame rate when recording to see things smoothly, but it's not, this program doesn't show all the frames. This program was created, now this is just my thoughts, okay, so don't take this as fact. This program was created as something for like finished artwork or finished movie production. Okay, so it was created in a way not necessarily as an animation program. Okay, it has all these elements, but what it does, it removes, it randomly goes along the timeline to just make things quick and easy for you to animate with. And you can't really see all the animation in real time unless you go to render and you render a video, which you would go here and it's already selected the frames and you just type in a name. And it takes literally, at the lowest setting, it'll take literally a minute to render like a 30-second little movie so you can see your animation in real time. And that's the only real downfall of this program, is that you can't see it in real time in the program. But you can render a movie. So we want to save this animation for Second Life now. I'm sorry, earlier in the tutorial I told you to make a T-frame. I don't think you need a T-frame. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to select all, because I think the program adds a T-frame for you. So what I'm going to do, I've selected all, I memorize this pose, now I'm going to delete it and make the 0 frame the start frame, just for this tutorial, so it'll work out right. So now we have the Second Life avatar, no T-frame, and a little walk animation. So now we select the avatar, go to export, and we're going to resave over this Daz one that I just saved a minute ago. Save that. Second Life avatar, yes. Okay, now we can go into Second Life. Oops, forgot to tell them to have fun. Okay, so we're going to upload an animation, this Daz walk, and we'll loop it, play. As you can see, it looks pretty much like I created it. So we'll make this priority 3. We don't need to do any of this. Actually, and whatever. So let's upload it. I like this about 0.5. Not that I'm going to sell this. No, it's not a terrible one. Upload it. Alright, now let's see here. play it. And here we have our Dazstudio animation in Second Life. Ha ha ha. Alright, have a good one, everyone.